Welcome back, everybody. Excited to have you join me for another deep dive. And, this time we're diving into something I know you've been exploring a lot lately,
Yeah,
generative AI, and what it means for the future of software testing.
for sure.
You've shared some fascinating articles with me,
hmm
including one that really caught my eye with a title that I know speaks to you.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
called Beyond Automation, Using Generative AI for Lucrative Software Testing Opportunities.
Gotta be lucrative, right?
Absolutely.
Uh,
And one of the things that struck me as I was going through this is we're not just talking about automating the things we already do.
right.
It seems like it's way more than that.
It is way more than that. And that's what's really got my attention, too, is the idea that we're moving beyond just like automating the tasks we already do.
Right.
This is about AI designing and refining and even optimizing test cases.
Wow.
And that is a completely different ballgame.
So it's less about replacing humans and more about like giving us superpowers or something.
Totally, like giving us
Uh-huh.
superpowers. Exactly. And so imagine this traditional automation is like a robot following a recipe.
Okay.
It can bake a cake, but it can't come up with new flavors or adjust the baking times based on the oven.
Right.
Generative AI, on the other hand, is like a chef who learns by experimenting and tasting.
Yeah.
It can analyze vast amounts of data to understand why certain recipes work better than others.
I like where this is going.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And can you make this a little more concrete for me? Like, how
Yeah.
does this relate to the work that I do every day?
Sure. So think about the last time you tested a complex e-commerce app.
Okay.
With traditional automation, you'd have to painstakingly write out every possible scenario,
Oh.
adding items to the cart, using different payment methods, navigating that whole checkout process. It's
Oh, it's so tedious.
incredibly time-consuming and,
Mhm.
yeah, tedious.
I've been there, and those late nights trying to break the system are not my favorite memory.
Well, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, imagine this, feeding the app's requirements into a generative AI system. It could generate hundreds or even thousands of test cases covering all sorts of those like really unusual scenarios, those edge cases
Right.
that we humans might miss.
Yeah.
It's like having a tireless testing assistant who can explore every nook and cranny of your app.
So it's not just about speed then. It's about catching those tricky bugs that might otherwise slip through the cracks.
Precisely. And we've even got research here showing that a financial institution used generative AI to scan 500,000 lines of code and found critical bugs 80% faster than manual review.
Wow. Okay.
That kind of efficiency can free up your time for more strategic, higher value work.
Okay, now that's the kind of efficiency I can get behind.
Right.
80% faster. My to-do list just breathed a sigh of relief.
I know you're thinking about it.
Let's get down to the part that I know you're really interested in, the lucrative opportunities part.
Absolutely.
This all sounds fantastic, but how does it translate into tangible career advantages for someone like me?
That's the question on everyone's mind, right? And here's the good news. Generative AI isn't about replacing jobs.
Okay.
It's about creating new ones, roles that leverage your existing skills and expertise in new and exciting ways.
Yep.
Remember how you meticulously crafted those test cases?
Yeah.
That attention to detail and deep understanding of user behavior? Those skills are going to be invaluable when it comes to guiding AI to do it even better, faster, and at a larger scale.
So it's not about becoming a coding guru then?
No.
It's about learning how to work with these AI tools effectively.
Exactly. Companies are going to be scrambling to integrate generative AI into their testing processes, and they'll need experts who can guide them.
Okay.
Think of it as a whole new breed of consultant, the AI-driven test strategy consultant.
Oh, I like that.
You'd be helping companies implement these tools, optimize their testing strategies, and ultimately build better, more reliable software.
AI-driven test strategy consultant has a nice ring to it.
I know, right?
But what if I kind of enjoy the hands-on aspects of my current role?
There's a place for you in this future, too.
Okay, good.
Because a lot of companies are stuck using older testing systems.
Yeah, that's true.
And they need specialists who can bring those systems into the AI age.
Oh, okay.
That means integrating generative AI capabilities into existing frameworks, breathing new life into what's already there.
So instead of starting from scratch, it's about making the systems we already have smarter and more efficient.
Exactly. And this is where your experience with those systems becomes a huge advantage.
Okay.
You understand their intricacies and can guide the integration of AI in a way that maximizes its impact.
This is all starting to feel very sci-fi, like, machines and humans working together to solve complex problems.
I know, right? It's a good analogy.
But before we get too carried away by all the possibilities,
Right.
I think it's important to acknowledge that with any new technology, especially one as powerful as AI,
Mm-hmm.
there are potential downsides to consider.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to be mindful of the potential for over-reliance on AI.
Right.
These tools are incredible, but they're not a magic bullet. We can't just sit back and let the machines do all the thinking for us.
Yeah.
Human expertise and judgment are still essential, especially when it comes to things like, understanding complex user behaviors, interpreting test results, and making critical decisions about software quality.
So it's about finding that sweet spot, right?
Yes,
Leveraging the power of AI while still maintaining our own critical thinking skills and ensuring human oversight throughout the process.
100%. Think of it as a collaboration, not a replacement.
Okay.
We bring our experience, our intuition, and our understanding of the bigger picture to the table, while AI helps us do things faster, more efficiently, and at a scale we could never achieve on our own.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation, and I'm sure our listeners are eager to learn how they can prepare for this AI-powered future. So let's dive into that in our final segment.
Let's do it.
So we've talked about how generative AI can supercharge the work we already do and even open up these new career paths.
Yeah.
But let's get real for a minute. What does this AI-powered testing actually look like in the wild?
That's where it gets really exciting.
Okay.
We've got some amazing case studies that show just how transformative this technology can be.
Awesome.
Let's start with Netflix.
Okay.
Think about the pressure they face to deliver a seamless streaming experience to millions of users, especially during peak hours when everyone's settling in for movie night.
One little glitch and the internet would explode.
Yeah.
I can only imagine the stress of keeping things running smoothly with that many people hitting the play button at the same time.
It's a massive undertaking, and that's where generative AI comes in. Netflix is using AI to simulate thousands of simultaneous user streams across a variety of devices, essentially creating a virtual audience that pushes their system to its limits.
So it's like stress testing on steroids. Instead of waiting for real users to potentially encounter problems, they're proactively creating those scenarios in a controlled environment.
Exactly. By mimicking real-world usage patterns, they can identify potential bottlenecks and optimize their infrastructure to handle even the heaviest loads. It's like having a crystal ball that predicts where those digital traffic jams might occur before they even happen.
That's brilliant. No more frantic scrambling to fix things when the system gets overloaded. Now, this is Netflix we're talking about. What about companies that are focused on software development itself? How are they using generative AI?
Well, let's shift gears and talk about Microsoft.
Okay.
They've been at the forefront of using generative AI to predict bugs before they even reach users.
Wait, hold on. Predicting bugs? That sounds like something straight out of Minority Report.
I know, it's pretty mind-blowing. Microsoft has been feeding their AI system mountains of data from past software releases, essentially teaching it to learn from previous mistakes.
So the AI is analyzing patterns in the code, identifying areas where bugs have popped up before, and then flagging potential issues and new updates.
Precisely. It's like having an AI detective that can sniff out those pesky bugs before they cause any trouble, and the results have been impressive. They reported a reduction in bug detection time by over 30%, which translates to higher quality software and happier customers.
Okay, it's all starting to connect now. Faster testing, fewer bugs, happier customers, more time for innovation. I'm starting to see why everyone's so excited about this technology.
And we're just scratching the surface.
Oh, there's more.
Our final case study takes us to the world of autonomous driving, where the stakes are incredibly high and the testing challenges are even greater.
Now, that's an area where even a small error can have huge consequences. I can only imagine how complex it must be to test self-driving cars with all the variables on the road, weather conditions, unexpected obstacles, other drivers.
Exactly. And that's why a leading car manufacturer is using generative AI to create more robust testing scenarios. Instead of just testing how a car performs on a sunny day with clear visibility, they can now simulate all sorts of extreme conditions.
So they're pushing these cars to their limits in virtual environments before they ever hit the real road.
That's the idea. They're using generative AI to create test cases that involve heavy rain, snow, fog, even unexpected obstacles suddenly appearing. They're essentially putting these self-driving systems through the ringer in a safe, controlled environment.
This is like taking those simulations you see in video games and applying them to real-world problems with life or death consequences.
And that's precisely why this technology is so revolutionary. By testing autonomous driving software in these challenging virtual environments, they can identify potential flaws and improve the safety and reliability of these vehicles before they ever carry passengers.
Okay, I'm officially blown away by the possibilities here. But before we get too carried away, I think it's important to acknowledge that with any new technology, especially one as powerful as AI.
Mm-hmm.
There are potential downsides to consider.
You're absolutely right. We need to be mindful of the potential for over-reliance on AI. These tools are incredible, but they're not a magic bullet. We can't just sit back and let the machines do all the thinking.
Right. Human expertise and judgment are still essential, especially when it comes to things like, understanding complex user behaviors, interpreting test results, and making critical decisions about software quality.
So it's about finding that sweet spot, right?
Yes.
Leveraging the power of AI while still maintaining our own critical thinking skills and ensuring human oversight throughout the process.
Exactly. Think of it as a collaboration, not a replacement. We bring our experience, our intuition, and our understanding of the bigger picture to the table, while AI helps us do things faster, more efficiently, and at a scale we could never achieve on our own. This has been such an eye-opening conversation, and I'm sure our listeners are eager to learn how they can prepare for this AI-powered future. So let's dive into that in our final segment.
Let's do it.
All right, so welcome back to the final part of our deep dive. We've been talking about generative AI and software testing.
Yep.
We've seen how it's changing the game for companies like Netflix and Microsoft. But let's get down to brass tacks here. What does this mean for you, for your future, for your career as a software tester?
Well, the software testing landscape is changing really fast.
Yeah.
And anyone who's willing to embrace these changes is going to have a huge advantage in the coming years.
Okay.
The key is to be proactive, to start preparing now for the skills and knowledge that'll be in high demand.
So no more burying our heads in the sand.
No.
We got to face this AI revolution head on, but where do we even start?
Well, the first step is to build a solid foundation in AI and machine learning. You don't have to become a coding wizard overnight,
Right.
but understanding the basic concepts is going to be really crucial. Think of it as like learning a new language.
Okay.
The more fluent you become, the better you'll be able to communicate with these AI tools and guide them effectively.
So brushing up on my Python skills and diving into some online courses on algorithms wouldn't hurt?
Exactly. There are tons of great resources available from, free courses on platforms like Coursera and Udacity to more in-depth boot camps if you're feeling ambitious. And the best way to learn is by don't just read about AI. Play with it, experiment with tools like GPT and GitHub Copilot.
Okay.
These platforms will give you that hands-on experience with generative AI, and you'll see how it's being integrated into real-world workflows.
It's like anything else, right? The more you practice, the more comfortable and confident you become.
Exactly.
But let's get specific here. What are some of the key skills that software testers should be focusing on to stay ahead of the curve?
Well, think about the tasks that generative AI is particularly good at, things like generating test cases and predicting potential bugs.
Oh,
These are areas where human testers can add the most value by focusing on strategy analysis and interpretation.
right.
You've been great at creating those detailed test cases manually, but now you can leverage AI to do it even faster and at a larger scale.
Yeah.
So your role becomes more about guiding the AI, refining its output, and ensuring it aligns with the overall testing goals.
So instead of getting bogged down in the minutia of writing every single test case, I can focus on the bigger picture, on the strategy and the why behind the testing.
Precisely. You become more like an architect, designing the testing blueprint while the AI becomes your construction crew carrying out the plan with speed and precision.
Wow, that's a great analogy.
And you'll also need to become an expert at interpreting the results, understanding what the AI is telling you and making informed decisions based on that data.
It sounds like a perfect blend of human expertise and AI capabilities.
It really is.
But what about those of us who really enjoy the hands-on technical aspects of testing? Is there still a place for us in this future?
Absolutely, because many companies are still using those older testing systems,
All right.
and they need specialists who can integrate these new AI capabilities into those existing frameworks.
Okay.
Your deep understanding of those systems is going to be super valuable in guiding that integration process.
So it's about taking the systems we already have and making them smarter, more efficient, more AI-powered.
Exactly. It's like taking a classic car and giving it a modern engine upgrade.
Yeah.
You're preserving the best of what's already there while enhancing its performance and capabilities for the future.
It's been an incredible journey exploring this world of generative AI and its impact on software testing.
Yeah.
What's the one key takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with?
I want them to remember that generative AI isn't a threat, it's an opportunity.
Okay.
By embracing this technology, developing the right skills, and being open to new ways of working, software testers can position themselves at the forefront of this exciting new era. It's about augmenting your capabilities, not being replaced by them.
I love that this It's been such an insightful deep dive. We've explored the transformative power of generative AI in software testing, from enhancing efficiency and even creating entirely new career paths.
Yeah.
But I think most importantly, we've learned that the future belongs to those who are willing to adapt, to learn, and to evolve alongside this incredible technology.
It's a future where human expertise and AI capabilities work together to create better, more reliable software. And that's a future we should all be excited to be a part of.
Well said. And that's a wrap on another deep dive. We hope you enjoyed exploring the world of generative AI with us. Remember to check out the show notes for links to all the resources that we've mentioned. And as always, keep those questions and insights coming.
For sure.
Until next time, happy testing, everybody.